Good morning, everyone! Good morning, everyone. I'm Ferdi Salvador, sitting in for Paulo de Rosario. We bring you the news you need to stay ahead.
Rise and shine, beautiful people. I'm Anne Asis-Carilo. It is a Monday, January 13, and we are here to jumpstart your day with some good vibes, inspiration, and unstoppable energy.
And happy Monday, I'm Monique Tuzon. Your mornings are more fun with us. Join us in the next hour for stories and conversations that matter. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, ladies.
We killed the intro. We were on scene.
Because you know what? Energy's energy. It's really high on a Monday morning.
Exactly. And I love Ferdi's outfit today.
Well, you chose it.
Can we just do a close up on the butterflies?
I've worn this a million times. Let's morph since this is my second ep with you guys here.
I know.
On the show.
Happy to
Missing
have you.
Paolo.
Are you loving it so far?
I'm loving it. I'm loving
Minus
it.
the waking up, right?
No, but you know what? The waking up bit is cool because at least I get to do a lot of things.
You know what? That's so true.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like more productive when I wake up early, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Dinners are canceled. Obviously, if I'm bed at 7.
Oh, wow. That's super early if you're bed at 7 p.m.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Oh, you're earlier than all
I
of
try.
Exactly.
Or I take a nap.
Well, I hope our viewers had a great weekend. We know we were able to catch up on sleep and some rest, right, over the weekend.
I know it was a busy weekend, but much needed break.
Yes, that's true.
But let's check the weather for now
Yes.
and see how our week is looking. So for today, we can expect generally fair weather conditions. The shear line is affecting Eastern Visayas, the Bicol region, Mimaropa, and Quezon. These areas should watch out for scattered rains and isolated thunderstorms. The northeast monsoon or hanging amihan prevails in most parts of Luzon, including Metro Manila. We can expect some isolated light rains later on the day. And speaking of amihan, have your jackets ready because we can expect sweater weather ahead. Pag-asa says Baguio's temperatures today will range from 14 degrees to 23 degrees Celsius. And as for Metro Manila, temperatures will range from 23 degrees to 29 degrees Celsius. And today's sunset is scheduled at 5:45 p.m.
Now, better gas up, motorists. Prices of fuel products are expected to increase again this week. According to UniOil's projections, prices of diesel and gasoline will rise by 60 centavos to 80 centavos per liter. Last week, diesel prices increased by 1 peso and 40 centavos a liter, while gasoline and kerosene prices went up by 1 peso a liter. The Energy Department's Oil Industry Management Bureau says the projected price hikes are caused by the decline in oil production from both OPEC and Russia last month.
My, Anne, I've got to gas up. But several roads in Manila have been closed today for the Iglesia ni Cristo's Peace Rally. As flashed on the screens, affected thoroughfares including Katigbak Drive and South Drive Independence Road, the north and southbound lanes of Rojas Boulevard from Katigbak Drive to UN Avenue and Calo Avenue from Taft Avenue up to Rojas Boulevard. Malacanang has suspended classes on all levels and government offices in Manila and Pasay City ahead of the religious group's rally.
Stricter security measures are in place as the election period has officially started on Sunday. The Commission on Elections enforced a nationwide gun ban, prohibiting all to carry firearms that are not authorized by the COMELEC. Only deputized law enforcement personnel are allowed to bear firearms during the election period. Checkpoints are also put in place for the safety of the public. But authorities clarify only visual inspection is allowed at the checkpoints, meaning police officers are not to open trunks and glove compartments.
Meantime, as Meta announces it's ending its fact-checking program in the United States, COMELEC Chairman George Garcia expressed concern about the elections period. On BNC's On Point, Garcia said that the COMELEC and Meta have a memorandum of agreement to fight disinformation and misinformation in the country.
The COMELEC cannot be prevented from regulating at least misinformation, disinformation, and fake news, or removing from the social media posts. Yan lang naman po ang pakiusap natin. Let's see what will happen in case the COMELEC will be making a request to take down certain posts for being a misinformation or disinformation or a fake news.
So it still needs to be tested because you're saying that there was an agreement, but are you unsure if that will be followed?
Because of the recent development that you mentioned, Ma'am Pinky, we, at this point, I am not yet sure as to whether the agreement that they entered with us will still be binding pertaining to that matter. But however, they have not informed us of any change of their commitment.
The government planning to ramp up its diplomatic presence overseas by opening more embassies. President Bongbong Marcos Jr. says this is to strengthen relations and to better their services for Filipinos abroad. This also aims to strengthen trade, investment, and cultural exchange with other countries. Just recently, the Philippines has opened new embassies in Bahrain and Slovenia, signifying the country's stronger independent policy.
Last year, we opened 4 embassies in Europe and in Latin America. This year, we will be opening 4 more foreign service posts in North America, in Asia, and the Pacific. And by the end of 2025, we will have 102 posts, effectively widening our reach globally. We are poised to establish more down the road.
In the meantime, inflation still #1 among top concerns of Filipinos, a new Okta research reveals. 56% of Filipinos say their topmost worry is the staggering price of goods. That's lower than the 66% in the previous quarter. But those concerned for more affordable food grew from 39% to 44%. Meanwhile, health is chief among Filipinos' personal concerns, with 70% saying staying healthy is their priority. Other personal concerns include job security and good nutrition. 1,200 respondents answered the survey in November 10 to 16 with a margin error of ±3%.
In the U.S., firefighters were slowly making progress in their battle to contain the inferno that has burned wide areas of Los Angeles' Pacific Palisades neighborhood to the ground. However, spreading flames and strong winds still threaten communities in the populous San Fernando Valley on Sunday. Aircraft dropped water and fire retardant on steep hills to stem eastward spread of the Palisades fire. KTLA television reported that the ground crews had managed to save a number of houses, although others were lost. 6 simultaneous blazes that ripped across the second largest U.S. city since Tuesday has killed at least 14 people as of Sunday morning. At least 16 people are estimated to be missing.
In other news, an attorney for TikTok said on Friday he was very hopeful of a favorable Supreme Court decision as it weighs up upholding a law that would force a sale or ban of TikTok in the United States by January 19. The companies and users sued to block the law passed by Congress with strong bipartisan support last year and signed by outgoing Democratic President Joe Biden, whose administration is defending it. They appealed a lower court's ruling upholding the law and rejecting their argument that it violates the U.S. Constitution's First Amendment protection against government abridgment of free speech.
The United States government concedes that it has no evidence that China has ever attempted to date to control the U.S. TikTok platform. It concedes that China has not attempted to censor content on the platform in the United States. It concedes that China has not attempted to misappropriate user data in the United States. And if China ever asked TikTok or asked TikTok through ByteDance to do any such thing, it would refuse.
When the government's reason for interfering is we don't like the viewpoint or the content that's going to be expressed through that platform. That is the core First Amendment value that our framers enshrined in the very First Amendment in our Constitution to protect freedom of thought, freedom of expression, freedom to create, freedom to share, and freedom to learn.
Now on to sports. Prayers up for Kevin Kimbao as the two-time UAAP MVP's debut in the Korean Basketball League was cut short. Kimbao suffered an apparent ankle injury late in the second half as his team, the Goyang Sona Sky Gunners, lost their home game to the Seoul SK Knights. The former LaSalle King Archer did not return to action afterwards. On his Instagram stories, KQ thanked his followers for the prayers and support, saying he'll be right back soon. Meanwhile, two-time UAAP champion JD Kagulangan makes a strong first impression for his new team, the Suwon KT Sonic Boom. Now, despite losing to the Seoul Samsung Thunders, the former UP Fighting Maroon registered 7 points, 9 assists, and 5 steals. And that was enough for him to earn Key Player of the Game honors on the team's social media accounts.
In entertainment, how's this for a hard launch, Anne and Monique? It looks like Dominic Roque and Sue Ramirez are making their relationship Instagram official. Roque posted pictures of him and Ramirez together for the first time on his IG feed. It shows them dining together at actress Judy Ann Santos' a restaurant in Alabang. Roque confirmed that he's dating Ramirez during a red carpet interview in the 50th Metro Manila Film Festival. The two sparked dating rumors in November last year after they were seen together in Siargao and on multiple occasions. That should be part of your list now, Anne.
No, remember we talked about that when we did the list. Because I felt bad when Javi Benitez and Sue Ramirez broke up.
Right.
And now dating rumors between Dominic Roque and Sue Ramirez, di ba, have come out already because they've been seen together. Kissing pa nga in some videos.
Well, the angle looked like they were kissing.
Yes.
I asked Dominic Roque about
Hindi
that.
raw.
He said no, it was the angle.
But then he already came out with an announcement that they are dating.
They
and now
are
the
dating.
photos on Instagram, I love it.
They're off
I'm so
fish.
kilig. They're really
They're off
cute.
fish.
Yeah, they're really cute together.
Yes.
I don't know who
I
they
like how
are.
your energy just jumped out when it was entertainment.
When it's showbiz,
As a
Ferdi.
resident Marites
I am the resident showbiz girl, but really, I'm so happy for them. I'm happy that Dominic has, moved on and is happy, right?
Positive
Nice,
beginnings
nice.
to 2025.
Yes.
And I hope the others who didn't have such a good romantic 2024 are going to come out in 2025 with new positive news about their love
You
life.
should start making a
Yes.
list now for the new favorite couples of 2025.
I already have a breakup list niya eh.
You're so nega, breakup
No,
list
because
agad.
2025 started with breakups.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So now I'm really hoping to add more to the surprising couples for 2025.
Oh,
right?
we didn't do a surprising couples of 2024
I
list,
was gonna, but they
actually.
didn't make me. They didn't.
Okay,
make me
you can do
that
it this year.
We'll do that. Year ender. Oh my goodness, we're talking about the year ender. It's still January.
year just started.
It's 11 months
girl.
away.
Christmas is coming soon.
Yes.
Exactly.
And since we're in green.
I know, right? Very fitting.
But we got more in store for you guys on the show. A property consultants firm reveals an oversupply now hounds the condominium market in Metro Manila. How did this come about and how will it pan out this 2025? Leechiu CEO and co-founder David Leechiu joins us live via Zoom after the break. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. While Metro Manila looks bursting at the seams, a gaping hole in the market exposes a bleeding wound: condominium oversupply. Real estate analysts say there's about 29 months worth of unsold condominium units in Metro Manila. While some may argue it's just a phase, we get the real score from the man behind Leechiu Property Consultants himself, Mr. David Leechiu. It's a beautiful day, David.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hi, David. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Great to have you, David. First and foremost, can you tell us what is the explanation behind the condo oversupply that's happening in the country right now?
Yeah. Okay. So, first of all, we think there's about 3 years worth of supply out there, and I just want to be clear that the problem that we see of this oversupply is limited to the middle market, prices between 3 million to 20 million pesos. And how did this happen? First, it's a combination of many things. One is that many projects were delayed by COVID, and all those projects are now being completed more or less clumping at the same time between 2022, 23, 24, 25. Okay? To the point where the supply built up to today at 2025 at 75,000 square meters of unsold space. Second, the POGO sector pulled out, or there was this ban of POGO, and a big chunk of these tenants and buyers are leaving the country. They're still in the process of leaving the country. They haven't left completely. The third reason is that ever since 2022, when we opened up the Philippines and the world from lockdowns of COVID, inflation spiked, and consequently interest rates. And so 3 to 4 years of high interest rates today has worn out the middle class. It really has been tough for the middle class because they're squeezed on both fronts. The front of job insecurity, because many SMEs have been hurting by this high interest rate, high inflation environment. And second, the cost of living has really impacted them. So they're getting it on the revenue side, they're getting it from the cost side. And because of this, many who speculated or bought property or invested in real estate in the last 5 years have been forced to give up and defaulted on their payments. And so what we saw in late 2023 to early 24 is just default rates across the mid segment of the condominium market. I have to stress that the problem is limited to the middle market.
Okay.
And so this is the most vulnerable segment of the market, and we see rents falling first. So when we talk about falling prices, we are specifically talking about rental rates, because capital values, meaning sale prices, haven't really come down at the same rate as rental prices. So we think that rental rates have come down by as much as 50%, but capital values have only come down by, at the most, 20% in general. I'm not saying that there are no sweet deals out there, but there are fewer and far between as far as capital values or sale prices are concerned.
So, David, we had an investor actually on our show, I think it was last month, and he said that the oversupply is just a regular thing that happens, but will it eventually balance out? What do you think of his comment on that?
I'm sorry, ma'am. Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, we had an investor on the show that guested it last month, I think, and he said that oversupply is a regular thing that happens. But do you think it will eventually balance out? What are your thoughts on that?
Yes. Okay. So an oversupply does happen every so often in markets, and we have to understand that an oversupply does not necessarily mean a bubble or a crisis. It just means that there's more stock than there is buyers or tenants. And fortunately for Philippines, we have some of the healthiest demand numbers. We have certainly one of the best demand numbers for office and retail. I can tell you my experience from having come from New York and San Francisco recently, like in the last 5-6 weeks, I was just there. And it's dreadful to be a landlord for office. It's dreadful to be a landlord for retail. But here in the Philippines, we have a vibrant retail market. We have a vibrant office market, even though the office sector is going through a period of oversupply. We think that that oversupply will be absorbed within 3 years because demand is so healthy. Now, for the residential space, the high-end market is still undersupplied, and that's why prices are so resilient. And while the high-end might have a couple of sweet deals, they're few and far between. Landed house, very strong. So you see Forbes Park and Das Marinas still climbing. Now, you will see some landowners and property owners in Forbes and Dasma, for example, bringing down their asking price. Okay? But that doesn't mean that they're closing at rates below the last deals. Okay? So you might have somebody in 2019 saying, I want Forbes Park at 800,000 pesos. But buyers are not ready to come up with 800 pesos because the market at that time was only at 550. But from 550, Forbes Park went up despite COVID, lockdowns, inflation, interest rates. They still kept climbing. And so today, Forbes Park is somewhere at 600,000 per square level. Sellers still want to transact at 800, even if the market is only at 600. And that's why you have some properties that have been vacant and unsold because the sellers can hold. Now, if we move on to the mid-end market, you see this oversupply. That oversupply is still not leading to a bubble because the developers who have taken back these units from default buyers are still holding on, and what they have done to compensate for this oversupply is giving buyers fantastic terms.
Right.
So
David?
we've got, yeah.
Sorry, David. I just briefly, I'm just really curious. You were talking about prices and the upscale areas. We have a question or actually a comment from a netizen saying that condos are insanely overpriced in the Philippines. I can buy a house in the States for the price of a condo here. Absolute insanity.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think about that? What's your opinion, briefly?
So two things. One is that you have to compare like to like.
Yes.
They have to. You cannot compare, Bonifacio prices to Mississippi or Oregon or Portland, right? You cannot even compare. So what is the most expensive property in in Philippines? It is the Shangri-La at the Fort in BGC, and the smallest unit is 250 square meters. The largest is 700 square meters. And the 250 small two-bedroom unit, and it's only two bedrooms for 250 square meters, that will fetch about 150 to 280 million pesos.
Yes,
Somewhere there.
That's why I think I'm going to move in with you, David, with the price.
David,
Thank you, Ferdi, for your for your vote of confidence. But
David, these are actually comments from the previous episode that we had with an investor when we talked about condo oversupply in Metro Manila. Another comment from one of our viewers from .NET Coder. I don't buy that condos are good investment, especially in today's economy. Imagine a 42 square meter condo with a 5 million price tag will cost you a minimum of 42K in monthly amortization for 15 years. This excludes the real property tax, condo dues, and other maintenance. If you're going to rent it out, it will be way much less than your monthly unless you're in the heart of BGC or Makati. It's still better to rent these days, according to this viewer of ours. So what are your thoughts on this?
yeah, so market to market, very different. So the strongest rental markets are BGC and Makati, and everything else outside that will be lower rents. Okay, so how do we tackle that? I would say that you have to be conscious of what rent levels are in particular areas. For example, what are rent levels in Ortigas, in Alabang, and what's driving that? What's driving that are the expat market, and what's driving that are the higher earning middle class that need to rent inside the city versus outside the city where they live. Next is that, yes, there will be some times where the rents are not enough to cover amortizations, but That's because we're in the Philippines where capital is so inefficient. You know, in Japan, you can pretty much, you're only allowed, you're only required to cough out 5 to 10% equity in the developed markets. In the upcoming developing markets like Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, or sorry, not Malaysia, but let's say Cambodia, the equity required is much higher because the liquidity and capital markets are not as developed. So that's just a function of capital market structures in these countries. Now, going back, we have to compare like to like. We cannot just say, you know, BGC prime versus regular property in New York. It doesn't work that way. What I could tell you is that I had the moment to invest in New York 12 years ago, 14 years ago. And I'm glad that I didn't because property prices there have not moved anywhere, neither currency. And what would have happened? You would have had negative cash flow, meaning your rent would not have been enough to cover for the amortizations, and maintenance and taxes would have eaten up everything in the last 12 years. Now, speaking of real estate taxes and dues, the dues in the Philippines are some of the lowest in the world. They're one of the lowest in the world. Why? Because we refuse. Every condominium unit owner will rather spend money on wine than on condominium dues. You know, like people like Ferdi.
Figuring you out right there.
Guilty.
It's too early.
Second is real estate taxes in the Philippines are some of the lowest in the world proportionate to the value of the asset. Really. And I don't have the math right now, but I'm happy to provide you with a chart of what real estate taxes are relative to the asset value. And by saying that, I don't mean that the government should raise real estate taxes because we should not. But I just want to stress that the maintenance dues and real estate taxes in the Philippines are some of the lowest in the world relative to the value. And condominium assets do appreciate. And the biggest difference between condominiums and landed house is that the condominium yields, cash-wise, are much higher than land values, landed property. For example, you own a house in, let's say, Ayala Albang, you rent it out, or in Forbes Park, or in San Lorenzo Village, or in Cebu, I forget the high-end village right now, but the yields there are probably sub 1%. You'll be lucky with 1%, and that's before maintenance and taxes. Now, a condominium space today will probably rent for 3%, but at the peak, it was renting for 5, 6, 7%. And I still have owners today who are able to get 10% yields.
Yes. David, talking about owners, sorry to interject. Many condo, we've got another comment here. Many condo owners are now suffering from buyer's remorse. Briefly, what do you think about that? Is that any true? You said that a while ago in the middle market, perhaps, but high end?
High end is fine. High end is fine. And in real estate, we have a saying that time will correct your mistakes.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So now,
and you might miss the market today, but if you have the holding power, which I suggest you do, just keep holding because over time, the property values will overtake every other investment class because that's what we've seen in the last 60 years in the Philippines. That real estate beat every other asset class.
Correct. Mo?
so now, David, we have 2 more comments that we're gonna just burn through real quick, like a quick fire question. So now here's the next comment. In my opinion, a condo is not an investment. Better buy listed foreclosed properties or open lot. Remember, condos have a lifespan and will be demolished when they are dilapidated. What are your thoughts?
No, I disagree. I strongly disagree. Condos do appreciate. It depends where and who the landlord is, which is why reputation of the developer is important. If you look at One Rojas was opened 30 years ago, and from the bottom prices, which is 16, 17 million pesos in one ROS. Today, it's about 120, 150 million pesos per unit. So that's almost 9x in a span of 20 years. So I don't, and I think those are very, very good returns anywhere in the world.
Thank God.
David, last comment from our netizen online. Comparing condo prices of the same kind and sizes of other Asian countries like Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, China, Cambodia, etc., Philippine condo price is too high. Double priced, nearly double price. Tax is so high. Condo price in the Philippines is almost the same in Singapore, Dubai, Hong Kong, London, USA, UAE. Philippines is a third world country. Your thoughts?
No. You have to compare like to like. If you compare Forbes Park prices to Orchard Road, which is the comparable landed, what they call good bungalows, the good sized bungalows in Singapore, the price of a bungalow in Singapore is 10 times Forbes Park. Forbes Park would look like low-end housing if you compare that to the equivalent in New York.
Again, I guess, and it's apples to apples,
Yeah.
You have to compare apples to apples. Now, if you're talking about mid-end market to mid-end market in New York versus mid-end market in Manila, I can assure you that even the mid-end market is ridiculous. The mid-end market in downtown New York is, I think, 1 million pesos per square meter in today's currency, versus here in the Philippines, where mid-end market is probably 80,000 pesos per square meter. And I'm comparing it like to like. I'm not comparing Makati to like Central Park assets. You have to compare. If you're comparing Mandaluyong prices, you have to compare that with the equivalent of Mandaluyong prices elsewhere.
Thank you so much, David. We still have a lot of questions to ask you. We were going to ask the real estate outlook for the year, but fortunately we don't have enough time. But maybe we can invite you again for another session on the show. Yes, David?
Yes, and if I can say one last thing, the next 18 months will be a great time to buy. Now, people complain all the time, prices are too high. Well, prices have come down. And what, they're still complaining? The reality is that you have to come in with, to quote Warren Buffett, you have to go in when people are afraid. And you have to sell when people are becoming too greedy.
All right.
Noted. So
Thank
we're
you
all
very
going to buy
much.
property.
Yes, Leechiu CEO and co-founder David Leechiu, thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you.
Now we got some good news for you because Filipinos looking to work abroad, a German food and beverage firm is hiring Filipino kitchen specialists in Europe. Natasha Tessmann of Eat Happy joins us live after the break. Don't go away. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. And welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Now, more opportunities await Filipino workers in Germany, especially those in the culinary field. A German-based food and beverage firm now expands its search as it seeks to train and hire more kitchen specialists from the Philippines. Joining us live in the studio is Natasha Tessmann, Managing Director of Eat Happy GmbH. Good morning, Natasha. It's a beautiful day.
Good morning. Nice to be here.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Now, first and foremost, let's talk about Eat Happy. Can you tell our viewers exactly what that is?
Yes, Eat Happy is a very young company. We're 10 years old, and we actually build shops in supermarkets, shop-in-shop concept. And every day we have about 3 people working in each shop and producing fresh sushi every day.
Wow. So we talked about it before we got on air. You're half Japanese, so that's why you're starting to make sushi, correct?
Yeah, that's why you brought sushi to Germany.
You know, that's so interesting. I'm thinking like a sushi bratwurst. I don't know if you've made, that yet, but
We're actually working on it. Yes.
Really?
Special events. You can join our products team.
That's actually one of my dreams, to be a culinary chef, but that's never, I digress. Anyway.
So, Natasha, how many Filipino chefs have you already recruited And how has their experience been in Germany?
We have about 6,000 employees,
Wow.
and about
Wow.
6% right now are Filipinos.
Oh.
That's
And
not enough.
That's not enough yet.
And that is
no.
the reason
Soon
why
it'll
they're
be-
here.
Yep,
Yes,
99.9%
yes.
Filipino.
Yes. And a lot of them start as shop employees, and then as the time goes by, they progress to shop manager, to area manager. So the interesting part, I think, is starting at Eat Happy and then going up the career ladder and developing into managerial position now.
But you know, the Filipinos are the Philippines is close to Japan, and
Yes.
we've got a very strong affinity to Japanese food. So I think
Yes.
this is a perfect formula for your young company of 10 years. I know that.
Exactly. And we're still growing, actually. That demand is very high. The food retail business is really interested in having fresh food in the supermarket.
Yeah.
So this year we're opening about 240 shops.
Wow.
Wow.
So we're looking to hire about 2,300
And
new
is-
employees. Yeah.
Everywhere, or is that just Filipinos?
It's, well, we're hiring in Germany also,
Okay.
but we would like to hire 500 Filipinos this year.
Oh, wow.
Can you tell us, Natasha, why did Eat Happy decide to focus on recruiting from the Philippines?
We have a lot of nationalities working at Eat Happy, and in the Philippines, the great advantage is everybody speaks English.
Right.
So you have a head start in terms of language and cultural integration. So, of course, we provide German language classes, but it's definitely a plus if you speak English already,
Right, of
because you can
course,
get
of
around
course.
easier than being in Germany. Yeah.
Now, do you train them to speak German as well?
Yes, we do. We actually we have a small group of 40 new employees who have just finished their basic German language training in Manila, and this week and next week they're doing the live
How
food cooking
exciting!
training. Yeah.
That's exciting because you know we in the Philippines we speak English and it's very close to German, so it's
Yes.
easier for us to actually. People might think it's difficult, but I think it's easier for Filipinos to learn German than it is other languages.
Well, your German's very good, so.
Mine doch nicht so gut.
Doch, sehr gut.
I'm just flexing right now.
I know, me and Anna are like, okay, go, Ferdi.
Exactly what
Right?
he said.
Yes.
Y'all can have a conversation right now.
Since you're going to have a lot of Filipino
Yes.
employees, and we're excited about that, and thank you for giving our countrymen an opportunity.
Yes.
Do you think you're going to have a little bit of Filipino flavors in your
I think
mix?
that's going to be the next step, probably, to bring
Yes.
other products, other foods into our system, into our concept. Yes.
Or perhaps like mold Japanese sushi and
Fusion,
the Filipino flavors into one, right?
Yes, because
Like
we're
put them
particular
together.
in the Philippines. I think we're one of the countries that uses calamansi with our soy sauce and wasabi.
Yes.
Nobody,
Yes.
no one else uses that. So
Exactly.
when
Yeah.
I'm away and in a different country and I'm in a Japanese restaurant, I always ask for a citrus and they're like, why? Like,
Yeah, because there's no
Sorry.
calamansi anywhere else,
I
too.
know, we've been programmed to eat that way. So, do you do the same thing in Germany? Add a little bit of citrus in your soy?
Sometimes, yes. Not. This is the first time I've heard it, but
That's
it
a
sounds
I
good.
think you should try it
We'll
here.
pick it up.
Should
Yes.
try it, yeah.
Yes.
Bring calamansi to
Yeah.
Germany and slowly introduce that
Yes.
to your clients there. But now that you're recruiting people from the Philippines again, what are the benefits and the opportunities that they can have?
I mean, pretty much we support the employees with language classes. We have intercultural workshops. But I think the interesting part is that they can bring their whole family to Germany.
Wow.
And
wow.
they can live with their families in Germany
Okay.
once they've maintained a certain status. And then, of course, develop up the career ladder. So I think there's a lot of interesting opportunities.
Anne and I know how to cook.
Yes, you do.
We're cutting out more. Anne and I know how to cook.
So you're just going to leave me here? I said, excuse
It's okay,
that's
Paolo's
fine.
coming back in a couple of days.
I think Paolo's the one who doesn't know how to cook, so we can leave
Paolo's
him.
not-
Yes, Paolo can take care of the show, and we can all move to Germany
No, I'm just kidding.
and make sushi and everything. But Natasha, you initially started out this process by hiring Filipino sushi chefs, right? So what made you decide to expand and seek out kitchen specialists in general?
It's actually not that easy to find chefs right now, or in general to find new staff, because all industries are looking for people.
Yes.
So and Eat Happy, we have a pretty good system. So actually, if people are really motivated, have a good character, and are just interested in learning a new position, we can train them fairly quickly.
What specific qualifications or skills you're looking for in Filipino chefs?
I mean, it does help if people have kitchen experience, and
Of course.
I think having a liking for foods, fresh foods, and like to work in that environment.
Well, you're in the perfect country right now.
Right, yeah.
Now, I'm so curious because earlier you mentioned opportunities in Germany. There's a lot there.
Yes.
But apart from the F&B business, are there any other opportunities for Filipinos there who want to migrate eventually
Yes,
to Germany?
Of course, the nursing industry. I mean, the hospitals are looking for a lot of staff, and I think there's a lot of initiatives going on between the governments, also the German Filipino government, to hire more nurses. So I think that's definitely a sector that's also looking. Yeah.
So now, Germany's new Immigration Act, correct,
Yes.
for skilled workers specifically support the recruitment of Filipino culinary professionals.
Yes.
So how does that work and how does that benefit your
Yes.
company?
Actually, the Immigration Act was changed so that skilled workers, it doesn't have to be somebody from culinary, as long as they have a skilled education that is recognized by the German Chamber of Commerce. Anybody could apply. So in theory, an electrical engineer could apply if he has went to a proper university or school, and then has 2 years of work experience.
Can you imagine electrical engineer? You
Yes.
gotta cook and an engineer at the same time.
Exactly.
You can't lose.
I feel like Germany's going to be like the second Philippines now that they're opening their doors. as well.
Yes,
right?
that's amazing.
I'm like, no more California.
They're not just recruiting employees, but they can also bring their families and live there
Yes.
with
Which is-
them.
yeah,
Right?
which
That's
is
a
great.
great opportunity.
And that's a great benefit
Yeah.
because you don't want to be away from your family.
Exactly,
That's has
exactly.
happened in the past where in the Philippines, fortunately I would say, was one of the more preferred domestic helper centers in the world.
Right.
Because we know how to do things right.
And we're hard workers.
We're hard workers
Yeah,
who
and we're
speak the
versatile.
language.
Yeah, we can do
Absolutely.
anything.
I'm
Yeah.
really proud about that. And a lot of people look down on that, but I'm super proud of that. I mean, I've got cousins who've worked in the domestic field, domestic helpers field, and I'm super proud. And now you're giving
Right.
opportunities
Yes.
at a higher level, and they can
Yes.
bring their families over.
Yeah. Can you tell us, now that you have recruited and continue to recruit chefs and kitchen specialists for Eat Happy, what are the challenges that you have faced and continue to face as you recruit
course.
people to join the company?
Some of the challenges are just bureaucracy. I mean, the German bureaucracy is not that easy, but then once we get the paperwork done, I think it's getting people integrated, which we need to work on a lot. But we do have lots of workshops and classes, and we have a lot of different cultures working at Eat Happy already. So I'm pretty confident that we will manage.
Yeah. No, Natasha, this
Yeah.
opportunity for Filipinos, it's amazing what you're doing. So can you tell our viewers, if you want to look at the camera, where they can find you if they have any more questions on how they can work for your company?
Yes, we're actually working with Centro Manpower Services. It's an agency that actually recruits all of the employees and works with us. So you can apply there. They're based in Manila. And so just feel free to apply. Bring your family and friends.
Right.
Well, they can check out your website, right?
Yeah.
And our website, of course, yes.
Well, thank you so much, Natasha, for coming
Thank you,
on.
Natasha.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, Dankeschön.
Dankeschön.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Natasha Tessmann, Managing Director of Eat Happy GmbH.
All right, so Cebu is now gearing up for one of the most anticipated festivals in the Philippines, the Sinulog Festival. Find out more after the break. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. So Cebu is gearing up for one of the grandest celebrations, the Sinulog Festival, where thousands are expected to join the vibrant festivities uniting faith, culture, and tradition. Maricar Bautista reports.
305 vessels will join the 460th Fiesta Señor Fluvial Procession in Cebu starting Saturday next week. This is in honor of the Santo Niño de Cebu. The procession represents the arrival in Cebu of the wooden statue from Spain via Ferdinand Magellan's crossing of both Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Devotees are hoping to be blessed by the Señor Santo Niño and Our Lady of Guadalupe in the lead aboard the galleon along Mactan Channel. The land feature of the festival will be held at the Cebu City Sports Center. A surge of out-of-towners are expected to crowd the streets to participate in the loud and colorful Sinulog Grand Parade. Viva Pete Señor! Parade contenders alone number about 20,000 with 45 groups of 400 to 500 persons already registered for the competition. These include performers, trainers, and officials. The Hotel and Resorts Association of Cebu has already reported an 80 to 100% occupancy rate for the festival season. The city's main festivities will begin on Friday, January 17 and will culminate on Sunday, January 19. The PNP, AFP, Coast Guard, and BFP have arranged for over 3,000 personnel to counter any emergency that may arise. DOH Central Visayas is on Code White Alert from January 8 to 20 across Cebu Province, with concentration among highly urbanized areas Cebu City, Mandaue, and Lapu-Lapu City. Maricar Bautista, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Meanwhile, in Iloilo, the city made sure it will look sharp ahead of its Dinagyang Festival this month. The event will be held for the first time free of the unsightly spaghetti wires that have cluttered the cityscape. The local government carried out an ambitious underground cabling project to clear the streets of these obstructions. This year's Dinagyang Festival is scheduled for January 26th.
American drag queen Trixie Mattel gives a shout out to a Filipino college that used her drag photo. Crown Asia Foundation College in General Santos City posted a graduation pictorial guide prohibiting students from using heavy makeup and used Trixie's photo as example. Trixie tweeted the same graphic on X and garnered over 237,000 likes and 4.4 million views. One ex-user wrote in reply, "Your only option now is to show up to graduation." Which I agree, she should show up in the same exact makeup as that photo.
She should be like the guest of honor
They should
during
pay
that
her
event.
for using her photo for that.
Are you allowed to just get a photo
that's not cool.
Yeah.
You can ask for
I mean,
permission.
it's not cool and it's also not legal, right?
I'm not sure what legal is in that kind of realm. I mean, it's
okay.
two different countries. However, I mean,
I just think it's rude. Obviously, drag makeup, as we all know, it's really heavy and super OA. So for them to use drag makeup, I feel like that's a
well,
bit
drag
rude.
makeup is an industry in itself. So,
Exactly.
You know that. You know, whoever posted that, you guys are educators. You guys know better.
Exactly.
Not to propagate that kind of thing, right?
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens if Trixie will take legal. I mean, do you think she'll take legal action? I don't know. We'll see.
Well, she already called it out.
Yeah,
You
so
know what I
maybe
mean?
that-
Via her calling it out means to say, hey, you know, I'm watching you. But come on, I mean, do it with panache and taste always, right?
Agreed.
And you don't do it. You're actually, in my point of view, you're throwing shade at something you shouldn't. Although maybe that's not their intention. But come on.
Right.
Obviously.
And we got more viral things on social media. Yes, Ferdi?
Viral on social media, Dua Lipa's latest side quest gets attention on X after a user tweeted about her culture and literature podcast. User Nikitas wrote, Dua Lipa has ironically one of the best culture and literature podcasts. She interviews indie writers to heavy hitters, and more people should know about it. The tweet has over 152,000 likes and 4.1 million views.
Wow. I had no idea Dua Lipa had that
Same.
podcast.
I was like, I love Dua Lipa and I love her even more now. So I gotta
Exactly.
listen to that podcast.
Well, kudos.
Actually, we found our fourth host.
We should be
our fifth host.
Yes, yeah.
We should be on her podcast. Shout out Dua Lipa.
Yes.
We are available. I'll wake up anytime for you.
We'll be the trio Lipa.
The trio
We
Lipa.
should like guest her like via Zoom and then have a short conversation.
Go
with
and
her,
go ask
right?
for Dua.
Yeah, why
I think we
not
should do
Dua
it tomorrow.
Lipa?
Paolo, sorry you missed out again.
You're always welcome
Guess
to
who have we
guest.
had on the show without you here? Dua Lipa.
Dua Lipa.
Okay. All right, so that is it for us this Monday, January 13th. I'm Ferdi Salvador, sitting in for Paulo De Rosario. Thank you for joining us.
I am Anne Asis-Carilo. Thank you for making us your daily morning habit. Remember to spread joy and kindness wherever this day takes you.
And I'm Monique Tuzon. May you all have a great Monday ahead. Join us again tomorrow at 7 a.m. only here on
It's a Beautiful Day!